Welcome to another RSR. Tonight, I am reviewing Mount Pleasant FA 2, O&M FC 2, 3-2 on aggregate in the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup 2025 final, second leg. Mount Pleasant FA wins. They get the 2 goals they need at home with the away goal to win the trophy. It looked ugly for a while there. They got back in the lead, gave up another goal, got a later goal, won the tournament. Let's be honest, Mount Pleasant did not look like the better team tonight, and they didn't really look like the team who wanted it more tonight. O&M looked like the better team. They looked like they wanted it more. Mount Pleasant just had the goals at the right time and held O&M back enough, thanks to the red card, which was pretty stupid by O&M. Held them back enough to win the match, get the aggregate win, and get the hell out of there with a trophy. Mount Pleasant did enough. O&M tried very hard. In the end, doing enough, did enough. That's what you could say. Mount Pleasant FA 2, O&M FC 2, 3-2 global. La Copa Carabena de la CONCACAF final partido vuelta. Mount Pleasant FA campeón de la Copa Carabena. O&M Mount Pleasant ganador campeón y octavos de final de la Copa Campeones de la CONCACAF. Sometimes doing enough is enough. Even if the other team, even if the other part looks better, even if the other side looks better, sometimes doing enough is enough. It is what it is. Goals were scored as follows. 45 plus 5. In stoppage time of the first half, Harold Francetti scores after the red card for O&M. And they really had Mount Pleasant on the ropes for most of the game, in general, before the red card and after. And Harold Francetti gets one in behind against the run of play, slots it home, and it's 0-1. 0-1 esta noche, 1-1 aggregate, 1-1 global, goals de visitar, empate, tiempo extra, posible. Extra time was possible if that score held. It did not. Wild game, especially at the end, too. Halftime, 0-1. 0-1. Esta noche, 1-1 global. 0-1. 1-1 on aggregate. Medio tiempo, halftime. Mount Pleasant was shockingly getting outplayed by an O&M who were better than them, 11v11. Red card happens. You would think that a team who's the favorite would easily dispatch a team with a red card down a man. Stupidly, I might add. Tackling somebody studs up on the touchline was idiotic. You should not have done that. That makes me wonder how idiotic that red card was. It makes me wonder if O&M was 11v11, could Mount Pleasant have lost? They nearly lost down a man, or up a man, I should say. They could have easily lost 11v11. O&M wanted it more. Even if they drew and lost on aggregate, they still wanted it more. Sadly enough, wanting it don't matter if you do enough. With that being said, 62 minutes, ball crossed in, goes off the goalie, Gelbensu. Ball gets crossed in to Warner Brown. He taps it in. He's offside at first, but they check it on VAR. The goalie touching it before it got wide ended up being the reason why it stayed onside. 1-1 on the night. 2-2 or 2-1 on aggregate. 1-1 esta noche, 2-1 global. Mount Pleasant has the lead back. A timely goal and a decision that in the end very much saved their ass. To be clear, I think the goalie playing it is onside. Yes. Do I think it should have been offside at first? No, but that's going to piss off O&M fans heavily, I bet. 69th minute, Julian Olasagasti, ball played through on the free kick. He jumps and spins with a header and chips it into the net. Mind you, he chipped a header into the net and scores for O&M FC. 1-2, 1-2 esta noche, 2-2 global, goals de visitar para O&M. 2-2 on aggregate. O&M has the away goals with that header, a beautiful header by Olasagasti. Spins in the air, heads it in, chips the header, beats the goalie. That was the most beautiful header I've ever seen in football. I didn't know you could chip a header. He chipped the goalie with a header, spinning in the air. Jesus Lord, beautiful goal. Beautiful goal. Sadly enough, doesn't matter. Tyreek McGee gets the ball passed to him, nutmegs a defender, slots it Pascal Bensu, 87th minute, banger of a goal, 2-2 on the night, 3-2 on aggregate, 2-2 esta noche, 3-2 global. That is that. That is it. Tyreek McGee gives Mount Pleasant the leading goal on aggregate, and they would hold on for 9, 10, 11, 12 minutes. 9 minutes of stoppage time, 87th minute where the goal was played. Yeah, 12 minutes. They hold on, full time, 2-2 on the night, 3-2 on aggregate. 2-2 esta noche, 3-2 global. Mount Pleasant have won the Caribbean Cup this year. Mount Pleasant ganador, campeón de la Copa Caribena. Round of 16 berth given to them by octavos de final, avanzar. They get that spot. And frankly, do they deserve it? Not really. The way they played tonight, they were more, not lucky, but they did enough. It's like somehow you write an essay that is bare minimum what the rubric tells you to write. Somebody else writes a Harvard-level thesis, but somehow you get the A+ and they get a B. For what reason, I have no idea. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a professor. I'm not a doctor. Because doctors are professors either way. Professors are doctors either way. You did what the rubric said, just what the rubric said. You got an A+. They did more, way over and beyond, and they got a B+. Yeah, you got an A+, but do you really deserve the A+? Not knowing what they did besides going over and beyond? Either way, that's what Mount Pleasant did. They sent in a essay based off the rubric and got an A+, while somebody else put in a Harvard thesis and got a B+. That's what happened tonight, frankly. You want it that way. Full-time stats, 10 shots to 14, 6 shots on goal to 5, 62% possession, 38% possession, 372 passes to 229 passes, 75% pass accuracy to 69% pass accuracy, 22 fouls to 12, 3 offside to 2, 2 yellow cards to 1, 0 red cards to 1, 3 corners to 4. For me, again, Mount Pleasant did enough. They did enough to win the match. O&M were the better team tonight. Tonight, they were the better team. They were too milquetoast at home, had an away goal scored on them. That's what ruined them in the end. They were better in Jamaica. Sadly enough, O&M, Mount Pleasant had one extra goal, and in the end, that's all that mattered. During a final, you got to play your best 90 minutes. Hell, your best 180 minutes. Especially if it's a two-legged final like these. And Mount Pleasant didn't really play their best 180 either leg. They did enough in the first, did enough in the second. O&M didn't play a good 90 in the first leg, but they played an amazing 90 in the second leg. But it doesn't matter because they don't have the aggregate. One less goal knocked them. And you got to say, I got to give them props. They honestly wowed me. They were down a man. They were well drilled, O&M. They were very well drilled to take this match as close as it did while down a man and almost winning a trophy. You know what? Gotta respect it. I have to respect it because if you look at the situation, being down a man for most of the match after an idiotic tackle, that makes you wonder, is that tackle the reason why O&M lost the trophy? Maybe. I could say yes. I would say yes. It's probably the reason why they lost. Because if they don't tackle, that tackle on the touchline isn't a red card, or they don't do that, who's to say they lose? Mount Pleasant did not do anything that they needed to do with that red card. A team who actually should deserve to win a trophy should beat the ever-loving hell out of a team down a man, especially if they're an underdog. So suffice it to say, that was, even though you won a trophy, does it feel kind of hollow? I don't know if it matters or not, but I'd say it feels a little bit hollow. I mean, better side was honestly O&M. The bad part is, doesn't matter. Mount Pleasant did enough. And hey, congratulations to them winning the trophy. I'm not downplaying them. They had 2 good goals. 2 timely goals. But other than that, they didn't look good enough. But doesn't matter. They're lifting the trophy. They got enough. And I guess as long as you do enough and win the trophy, does it matter? Does it really matter if you didn't do enough or you didn't look amazing? You did enough to win the trophy. You're the one lifting the trophy. So be it. I guess it's better to win the trophy and not look too pretty than look amazing and still finish second. So it is what it is, really. That's what this game was. O&M, I thought they were well drilled. I thought they played very well defensively. It just wasn't meant to be. Mount Pleasant, they got the timely goals throughout both legs, and that was enough. Because the second leg wasn't pretty, defensively or offensively. They should have had them absolutely bodied because they were up a man for 60 minutes. Didn't happen. After being a team who's won 4, 5, 6, drawn 1, lost 1 in this tournament. Should have bodied them. They were the favorite. They played like a favorite. They played like the best team in the tournament until tonight. But hey, they won. So, with that being said, man of the match for me, Tyreek McGee scored the winning goal. That's man of the match. Especially if it's for the team who won the trophy. Because nobody else really deserves it. With that being said, Tyreek McGee, man of the match. Congratulations to Mount Pleasant. Felicidades Mount Pleasant. Commiserations to O&M. Mount Pleasant are your champions, and they'll get a round of 16 bye, and we'll see how that's drawn up this time next week, or we'll have the video up and have talked about it by this time next week, because the Champs Cup draw is next week. But we got more to do this week. We're not done yet. More suit days to come and more trophies to be handed out, even if we're not wearing a suit. With that being said, I'll see you tomorrow for the live watch along and review of Shelahu versus Alajuelense Central American Cup Final. 1-1 aggregate. Shelahu has the away goals, so let's see how that turns. Anybody could win, though. Should be interesting. If you like this video, like and share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Notification once subscribed. Send chats on live streams. Comment on this video. Put this in playlist. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I will see you tomorrow. And there you go. Congratulations, Mount Pleasant. Were you the better team tonight? No. Did you earn the title? Did you do enough to earn the title? Yeah, that's all that matters, I guess. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace. See ya.